true story. So I used to having the attention, be on Pronto and not on me. First time I got married, it's been a few times. During my wedding shower, I actually passed out because all the attention was on me and knocked myself out cold. So I am not generally one to like the attention on myself unless it's on my business. So we missed my first slide, didn't come up, but about me, I am a proud sister and aunt. I'm a dog mom and owner of Pronto Body Shop and a handful of other boring crap. So we will go over that. And so what Stephanie had talked about was a lot of people know that I own Pronto Body Shop and they know me as fixing cars and all of that, but a lot of people don't know the real Tiffany and know a little bit more about the background of me. And so I was just gonna sort of share some of that with you. So Gus, the next one, please. So introduction, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. So and when everybody asks me where I'm from, I always say the Austin area because that's the place that people can most understand. But it was outside of Austin, which is, I always say Georgetown, but there was a little town called Weir, which is outside Georgetown, which hardly anybody knows. So you're talking 50 acres that way was a family, 50 acres that way was a family, 100 acres that way was a family, so very rural community. When we used to get off the school bus, we'd leave school at 3, you'd get home about 6:30, depending on when you were getting dropped off. So grew up in the middle of nowhere. True story, who knows when I got my first TV in my house? Anybody know me that well?
1948.
Shut up. We are no longer friends. We didn't have a TV in our house till I was 17. So actually when Princess Diana died, that was the first thing I remember watching on TV growing up. We would see TV at my grandmother's house, but that was about it. I didn't know the Smurfs were blue till I was in high school. So even though I grew up in the 80s and 90s, I feel like it was more like the 50s sometimes. I don't even know if that's it. Is that right? Where did I learn to curse? Anybody have any idea? Anybody done a one-to-one with me and really got to know me? So the house, a couple acres over, there was a family, and they had a parrot that sat by the hot tub. And that parrot, every time you came into the house, would curse at you. And so that's where I learned my cursing techniques, was from a bird growing up. So y'all can thank that parrot that taught me how to curse. I kid you not. I came home, I was 6 years old cursing, and my dad was like, what in the hell has my daughter learned? And why do I have a love of the Mexican culture? So growing up, like I said, we were very far removed from society. We lived out in the country, and a couple acres over, there was the Hurtado family. And I used to get off the bus, stop ahead, and I would walk through the field, and the grandmother, Hurtado, was always there. She didn't speak any English. I spoke no Spanish. I was like 6, 7 years old. There was never a snack at my house because my mom was really strict. And so I used to always go to this little old Hispanic lady's house, and she would feed me an afternoon snack. And that's what made me have a love of the Hispanic culture very early on in life. And so I've always, it's always resonated with me, and I've always gravitated towards the Hispanic culture. Next one. These are my co-collaborators. So these are my nieces. I don't have children, but if I had them, God help us, they would be like these girls. So Evelyn is my oldest niece, and you've probably heard me talk about her. She will be 13 in March, and she is already 5'9". So she is taller than me. Nora is my middle niece and the creative one. And then Maggie is my mini-me with sass and attitude. And these are the reason why I do what I do. Family is very important to me. Friendships, family, that means everything, and that's why I work so hard. This is my co-conspirators also. So if y'all met, this is Cinnamon. I'm sure y'all have heard me talk about her. She's the reason why Axel has to come to my house because she's a little shithead and pees on my floor. Sam knows her because, you know, she had to be in the middle of all the construction when he was remodeling my bathrooms. And then this is Emery. She is my goddaughter. So if y'all have heard me talk about Bree, that's been at my shop for a very long time, that just had the stroke. This is her daughter and my goddaughter. And she was the one, if y'all have known me for a very long time, if y'all remember back in the day, I used to have the shop baby that was on our social media, the Pronto baby. Bree was pregnant at the shop, and Emery was at the shop the first year of her life. We used to throw up her on a sling, and we would estimate the cars and do all kinds of stuff. And so these two are near and dear to my heart. Excellent. My first career, look how young I was. So thank you. I started off in the insurance industry. I started off as an agent, but fun fact, when I was 14, I started my first job in the insurance industry. So I used to walk across from the Piggly Wiggly, where we lived back then, and there was an insurance office, and I would type on a typewriter claims cards for them to submit. So I started in the insurance industry as an agent. My father ran the fraud department for the Texas Department of Insurance. So currently, the current commissioner used to babysit me when I was little. I used to hide under his desk. So I've been involved in the insurance industry for a very long period of time. I moved over into insurance adjusting for a few years. So I used to adjust homes, commercials, auto, everything. And then I moved over to SIU, which is Special Investigations Units for the insurance companies. And so I did large investigations for insurance companies, other government agencies I would work with sometimes if we had an insurance fraud case. And so I would work on that. So realistically, I'm in the body shop industry. I fix cars now, but most of my life has been in the insurance industry. And so that's when I talk about if you have questions about insurance and your customers and they don't know what to do, I'm not going to take advantage of them. I'm going to give them advice and try to educate them to the best of my ability and then help them make a good decision. If it works with me and they want to work with me, great. If not, at least I know they're not taken advantage of, because I've seen a lot of horrible things happen within the insurance industry and people getting taken advantage of. Okay. Slight lapse in judgment. 2015, I bought a Pronto body shop with no intent of actually getting into the business. When I bought it, it was a failing business, and I originally thought that I would help clean it out, and I would then probably lease the building, maybe back to somebody else that was going to run a body shop there. Turns out there was a lot of crap in there. If you're from El Paso, I feel like if Alameda and Dyer Street had a baby, that's what the body shop looked like. It's where you went in there to get like murdered, because there's like Bondo in all the windows. You couldn't see anything. There was crap in there from like the 60s, because my building is over 100 years old. So Pronto has been there since 79. It was Herrera's body shop in the 60s and 50s. And before that, it was a mechanic shop and then a Chinese laundromat. Before that in the 20s. So it's been in the neighborhood a very long time, and there was crap in there for all those years. It took me till today throwing crap out. In February of 2016, I went off the deep end and I decided I could run Pronto Body Shop. And that's actually where I met Chris in February 2016. I knew 3 people in town at that point. I was from the Austin area. I had moved here in March of 15. I had taken a sabbatical from the insurance industry because I was burned out. I was only home 2 days a month because I was investigating so much. And February of 16, I said, well, I'm not ready to go back to the insurance industry, so let's give this a shot. And the 3 people I knew in town, I had put all of those in jail because there were insurance fraud investigations, so I wasn't well known here. And I went to a meeting it was a networking meeting because I Googled like networking meetings. I couldn't find anybody. And there was a group that met on top of the DoubleTree. And it was in February. It was cold. All these guys were like in jackets and suits. And I was like, fuck, I don't know these guys. Like, I'm in jeans and like heels and a jacket. And I remember walking into the group and thinking, oh gosh, I'm going to stick my hand in the middle of this group and introduce myself. And I hope somebody shakes my hand. So I did. I walked in. I said, my name's Tiffany. I'm with Pronto Body Shop. And I stuck my hand in the middle of this group of like bankers. And I was like, oh God, please someone shake my hand. And they did. And then later on, Chris was there and I met her. And I started developing relationships here in El Paso and getting to know people and going to as many events as I possibly could because, like I said, I knew nobody in town. I have 1 minute. Okay, let's speed this up. Next slide. So 2018, I was featured in Fender Bender magazine. 2019, I was on the cover. 2020, I started my first speaking engagement. I passed out during the speaking engagement, just so you know, because they made me talk about it. 2021, I started writing for Fender Bender and multiple auto collision magazines. Next one. What did I steal at my first auto industry? Y'all have to do a one-to-one because I'm running out of time so y'all can figure out what I actually stole because that's a hilarious thing. Passions. I am an instructor still with the Young Marine program. I sit on the board for the Boys and Girls Club. I'm a Rotarian. I sit on the board of El Paso Chamber of Commerce. Rescue Mission, Opportunity Center, all these organizations I'm familiar with and I participate, and there's probably many more. Cocktails are friends. That's the mixer for multiple. Hey. Why are we singing so much? I could have extra time.
She didn't snap yet.
So mixer for multiple organizations, LeTip, Independent Insurance Agents, Rotary, El Paso Chamber. Those are all organizations that now come to Cocktails with Friends, and it's a great way to meet other businesses and bring in businesses into organizations. One more. Then thank you. And if you don't know, and if you've done business with me, leave a 5-star Google review. I would really appreciate it. And if y'all have any questions or you want to get to know me more and about my business, do a one-to-one with me because I love to do that. I love connecting one-on-one with people. Thank you.